is actually a repeat. I took this class in John a while ago, and I found the class and the topics that he went through invaluable in the RCIA classes that I give in my parish.
I think it can apply to anyone, whether you're like 18 like me or whether you're like 98, because it deals with what it fundamentally means to be human.
He makes it relative to our lives through the stories that he tells. It's really beautiful. He has a brilliant mind.
John is a tireless supporter of the truth, but he's got gifts, the gifts of humor, the gifts of love, the gifts of passion, and the gift of teaching.
I call him Master John. Master John believes this, and he's studied it and he's lived it. And that's a pretty good combination for a professor.
John was actually even funny and very easy to follow. It was a very deep subject, but in a very approachable way.
John is a pillar of strength. When all the rest of the world was running off into various tangents with regard to human sexuality, marriage, family, John and those around him like-minded stayed true to the core of what marriage and family are all about.
John is a pioneer in teaching natural family planning. He was there at the very beginning and has a very good understanding of its importance.
This course is about the meaning of love, particularly the meaning of love between husband and wife. But it's more than that. It covers the love that one person can have for another in friendship and any other situation.
We live in the John Paul II generation, and we've been given a gift and actually a responsibility in that gift. The gift is the clear presentation of the Church's teaching on the gift of human sexuality and the meaning of love in not only John Paul II's Theology of the Body, but all of the other work that has inspired.
First of all, I want to look at the theology of the body and focus on that, but I want to do so in context. I want a backdrop on everything that we're talking about. So I start with Edith Stein.
Only a philosopher can sit there and look at something like that and gaze on it and come up with all these questions. And when it's a woman who is on top of that, who is also a philosopher, then you really got yourself trouble.
Then I go to Karol Wojtyła in Love and Responsibility.
What's the conduit here as a creature that you have always that is a direct conduit to God? What is that? Is that faith, hope, or love?
Love.
Most people would say love. Faith. Why? If I'm being tortured on a rack, do you think I feel God's love? You got to be kidding. And I say, this is God. I hope that this is going to end. Sure. Yeah, it's going to end. It's going to end with my death. What then is the contact I have with God?
When I read Redemptor Hominis, particularly Article 10, about man cannot live without love, they immediately respond to that because they're made in the image of God, and obviously if they're made in the image of God, they're made out of love and for love. It goes right to the heart, it goes right to the mind, and they get it. And we go on from there.
Remember what Schönborn said in the foreword of the Theology of the Body. John Paul II fell in love with human love. Under the Nazi regime and under the communist regime, where are you going to see God's concrete love in something like that? When anybody who's any good at all is being taken away and put into a concentration camp, okay? But what do you see? You see people giving up their lives for other people. Now, what must God's love be like if this person can do that?
I think most people have no idea, especially my age, have no idea how rich marriage is really supposed to be. We're scared off. They know the possibility of divorce is extremely high, and they don't know where to go or how to make something work. But John's course, the meaning of love, can really give people hope, give people the understanding, the roadmap of how do I get from here to there? How do I find the love that I want?
The couples come in with a lack of understanding. They see the church as rigid and not filled with love. And this series and the work we do is to promote the love that Christ has given us in His church.
Couples who come to the Catholic Church preparing for marriage deserve to hear the depth and the beauty of the meaning of love as the Church teaches it, as this program offers it.
The interesting thing about this document This is one of the best kept secrets in the pastoral church. On page 3, the question is, why is Familiaris Consortio addressed to all people without exception? Because it is for all people without exception. It talks about all kinds of different groups and everything, but quite frankly, it's for everybody, especially for those who are concerned about the truth, the great truth of marriage and family.
John Hamlin's educational series will be an excellent supplemental work contribution to seminary formation and the formation of religious, women religious and men religious and orders, because he has a full understanding of the history of the development of the theology of the body.
What do we want in life? Don't we want to be happy? And isn't happiness about being loved and loving in return? The meaning of love teaches us the truth about what that means. That it's not just about how we feel about one another, but how we behave towards one another.
In my own way of looking at it, Humani Vitae, which came out in July of 1968, it's like the skeleton of the person. Everything we're doing here, the theology of the body, Familiaris Consortio, and Redemptor Hominis, all of that puts flesh and blood onto that skeleton.
Then I finish up with Familiaris Consortio and then finally look at Dietrich von Hildebrand's little book on marriage, The Mystery of Faithful Love. In doing so, I'm giving not only depth, but a breadth of vision about the Church's view of sex and sexuality, man and woman, marriage and family. I can't take any one of those things out of there and put it in front of anybody and make sense out of it just by itself. All of those things have extremely important points that come out, are lifted off the page. And when we connect the dots at the end, they all connect. All the threads are there, and we can actually see the threads. So it's a historical look at things, but it's also a philosophical and theological look at this particular vision, which is extraordinary and extremely exciting.